Hey everyone. Hi. Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the Knife Center. Welcome to Knife AQ, episode 166 of the series where I answer all your questions, sharp or dull. This week, we're helping some people treat themselves to something special. Let's get into it. All right, everyone, if you're new to this series, what we do is, first of all, we welcome you, and then we answer questions that come from the comments section below these videos. So if you have a question, it's real simple. The way to get it to us is real simple. Just drop it in the comments section below, and it'll have a shot to be featured in the future. As I mentioned, it's kind of a treat yourself themed episode today, even though the official holiday, Treat Yourself Day, is in October. It's never a bad time to give yourself something a little nice. And we got some people here looking for that something nice. So the first one today is Rob2037. Hey DCA and crew, I need some help. I'm sure this has been asked and answered in some form or another, but I'm turning 40 in a couple months, and I need help narrowing down the new knife I'd like to splurge on for myself and be a little showy as well. I'm thinking an EDC with a super steel around $300 to $500 with edge retention at its core. First of all, happy birthday. Super steel, edge retention, $300 to $500. My mind kind of immediately started coalescing or thinking about S90V as a really good steel option. Obviously, there's a ton of great high edge retention steels at that kind of price range, but S90V, like I said, it's just kind of where my mind went first, and there are a lot of good options and some good showy options that show up in that kind of price range. So it's a good place to look. So I just went to our site and filtered the folders by S90V, kind of zeroed in on that price range and picked out what I thought was going to be the best. The first one we're going to look at actually doesn't even come in at the low end of your price range. This is actually a less expensive knife, but I think honestly, it holds its own against the stuff in this price range we're going to look at. And it is only about $177. So you could splurge on this and get yourself a nice steak dinner out as well for the same kind of budget. But here is the first option we're going to look at. It is the CJRB Echo, which starts off as a budget knife, but this version right here, everything is turned up. And first and foremost, you've got that S90V steel, so you're gonna have a ton of edge retention. Is S90V like the hard or toughest steel that you'll be able to like thrash and hammer on and split wood with? Wouldn't be my first choice for that type of steel, but for just an EDC, a general purpose daily cutter that's just going to slice, S90V I think is a great choice and will hold an edge a super long time. This is a Ray Laconico design. The blade length is about 3¼ inches. You've got this modified sheep's foot shape, just a general purpose, useful shape overall. The handles here are titanium. We've got Mars Valley fat carbon inlays, front and back. And of course, we've got the button lock for the action. As far as opening, you've got the front flipper and the blade cutout here. I'm gonna prefer the blade cutout personally because front flippers are my arch nemesis, but that's okay. Really graceful lines on this knife, I think, are well considered, well proportioned shape overall. Super nice. Definitely feels like more than 177, just under 177 bucks, of course. That is a good place to start. Then jumping up into the meat of your price range, got a couple carbon fiber handled options here that are a bit elevated too. It's not just the carbon fiber that makes them showy, but it is that on top of the way they're built. The first is this version of the Native 5 right here with an S90V blade coming in right at 300 bucks. And this, in my opinion, is the ultimate expression of the Native 5 design. Not only have you got this carbon fiber handle, you've got fluted milling, you've got a hint of contour to the scales, whereas pretty much every other Native 5 on the market is just a flat scaled piece. This is not that. You've got a little more consideration given to the actual wrapping of your hands around the handle, and yet it's still that same great everyday carry friendly knife. You got a 3-inch blade, and yet you've got a full handled grip thanks to the signature Spyderco finger choil right there. You can move back if you don't need that. And with the mid-mounted lock back, this is something that's going to work on either side, in either hand quite easily. Nice, smooth, one-handed opening, nice full flat grind for easy slicing. And of course, the S90 gonna hold that edge. Next up is, there's actually a few Benchmades you could look at that have carbon fiber and S90V in this price range. You've got the Bug Out, the 940-2, the famous Osborne, but the Freak, I think, is pretty darn sweet. I actually picked one of these up myself last year. The handles are full carbon fiber, quote unquote liners for the liner lock only go back to about here. The rest of the handle is linerless carbon fiber, and what that does to the balance of this knife is pretty astonishingly good. It feels lightweight for its size, it feels nimble, it doesn't feel bulky, but yet you have a hand-filling grip, like a truly hand-filling grip. And it's one of those things that, you know, on paper it's one thing, but in hand it's another, and that thing just sets itself apart a little bit. And that was the first thing I noticed when I really started handling this knife. It's like, this is truly special. The blade itself, 3.6 inches long, high flat grind, nice and slicey, and the S90 for your edge retention as well. Flashy enough for you? You tell me, I don't know. Axis lock works great. Right out of the box on this one, just perfection. Check that one out. If your tastes run more to like the frame lock side of things, got a couple here as well. The Liangma Designs Field Duty 3.5. Definitely a little bit flashy, a little bit showy. It's got some size to it. I mean, it's bigger even in its kind of bulk or visual bulk than the Benchmade we just looked at. We're selling these for $425 at this point in time. 3.5-inch blade, a little bit thicker than the Benchmade, but still a very high grind, very high flat grind. Gonna be slicey enough, I think. Titanium bolsters, marbled carbon fiber inlays on black G10, what's the word, foundation back here. We'll go with that, that's gonna work. Nice blue accents, titanium backspacer, milled deep carry pocket clip, tail mounted, so it is reversible, works very nicely. We've got a liner lock. I said frame lock a second ago. Apologies, this is a frame locking knife. Opening, you've got a front flipper that curls around the top. That makes it a little bit easier to use. I swear, I promise. Oh, come on, are you serious?
Not today.
That's really embarrassing. This is why I'm not a front flipper person. I don't know, my hands are just not built for it, I guess. I don't know, something about my hands, for some reason, some front flippers give me some trouble.
We tried turning your hands off and on again.
Maybe if I like blow out the, any NES fans out here? This guy's turning 40, he knows what I'm talking about. The reverse flick works well, the thumb opening works well, no frame lock bar here to rest your fingers on and potentially impact the opening action. Just pure and easy every time.
For most people.
Well, you know, that's neither here nor there. Next up, we have an actual frame lock. The Sharp by Design Apex flippers. Another front flipper. Why am I doing this to myself? And interestingly, because you mentioned flashy, and I'm looking through the various versions of this, you can get black and red or this blue and gray titanium handle. I was like, ooh, the Damascus. That's gonna give you more visual flash. This knife is also available in S90V, so that's gonna be your edge retention champ. The Damasteel here, which is based on RWL 34, which is basically CPM 154, is a very good steel, but S90V should outclass it in edge retention any day of the week. But this is the knife we have in front of me, so this is one we're gonna look at in any case. The Damasteel versions, actually I think all of the versions right now, nope, sorry. The Damasteel versions are at $475 at the moment. The S90 we're selling for $325 at the moment. So you can save some money and get more edge retention with that other powder metal steel right there. But blade length, 3.625 inches. Cool drop point or tanto available. It's just very graceful and really feels like you're maximizing the amount of blade to the handle that you've got there. It's just a really nice shape, and it really feels like they packed as much blade as possible into that handle. So you're really getting the most out of the space, the pocket space you have invested. Check out that pocket clip, milled and swoopy, very nice. Closed section here at the back with some jimping, and you can see right where that tip rests. Let me see if I can fail at this front flipper. Did it all right that time. I'm gonna use the flick in any case normally anyway. Just super nice pieces. Check these out. Any of these I think are definitely splurge worthy and worthy of commemorating 4 decades around the sun. Hope that helps. All right, next question. D-Brat of 1 says, hey DCA, I have a birthday soon. Turning 32, and every year I buy myself a knife. This year I want to buy a gentleman's knife, and my budget is around $100. Could you please give me some options? Sure thing. I've got 2 here for you. One, wanted to go with kind of an executive styled knife for that formal knife category. In this case, the Quake and Air Mini from Boker could be a really sweet option. There are several versions of this with, you can get titanium or wood for the handles with VG10 blades, or you could get this version right here with burgundy micarta and gold anodized titanium liners with an S35 VN blade for only about $60 right now. We've got this on sale. KnifeCenter exclusive in this case. Blade just over 3 inches, nice straight backed profile, graceful curving edge to the belly. And that's, to me, what a formal knife or a gentleman's knife should have, is a certain amount of gracefulness. That's personal preference in my case. I don't want something, or I tend not to gravitate towards things that are just blingy for the sake of being blingy. I want a graceful shape to go with it. So that's what I'm presenting you as an option right here. Liner lock, ball bearings in the pivot. Not a front flipper, thank goodness. Just a nice, crisp, conventional flipper. Deep carry pocket clip, not completely deep carry, I should say, but nestles in pretty nicely, and that's a color that might blend in pretty well with a pair of khakis, that kind of slacks, as opposed to your blue jeans right there. This could be really sweet. They're built really well, they cut really nicely, and the performance to dollar ratio right now is really good on this exclusive. One more, and also happens to be an exclusive. A non-locking knife could also be a good option. How about the CRKT Symmetry? This version right here, you've got a 2 3/4 inch blade, D2 tool steel for a good amount of edge retention at the on sale price at the moment of just under $40. Steel handles, pack of wood inlays. Pack of wood should last longer than conventional wood because it is laminated layers of actual wood, which will help resist shrinking, cracking, that sort of thing over time. In a much more robust fashion than natural wood will give you. Even the pocket clip is a little elevated. You've got the barrel spacers here acting as standoffs, so it's elevated literally and figuratively like that. It's really nice. As I said, this is a non-locking knife. It's a detent joint style of blade. Nice and clean profile when it's closed. And you've got this multi-flipper on the front, or on the top, I should say. And it works just fine as a conventional flipper. And because it's a detent joint, you can flip it closed rather conveniently. It also does the lighter flick pretty well, I promise you. There we go. And I haven't tried to front flip one of these in a while. Let's see if I can embarrass myself this time. Thomas is over here praying that I do. Nah, not this time, buddy.
You have to be lucky every time.
That's right. But there you go. I think two good options at well under your price point, quite honestly, that could treat you really well. Happy birthday again. All right, next question comes from Brett TH637. My son has recently become enamored with everything cowboy. He has the boots, flannels, hat, etc. His birthday is coming up, and I'd like to get him a decent fixed blade knife to go with the theme. Thoughts? Prefer to stay under 100. My first thought is, obviously you know your kid better than anyone else. You didn't mention an age here, but I tend to think of like the cowboy phase as being a bit younger. So I'm going to give you some options, but you as a parent are going to know what's best for, when to actually allow the kid to use this knife. But a traditional like cowboy, like cattleman's knife is not very fun. It's not very evocative of the whole cowboy aesthetic. So we're not going to go with that. We're going to go with a Bowie knife, because Bowie knives would have been around in the golden era of the cowboy age, and it also allows me to make the pun Cow-Bowie knife. You're a dad, I'm a dad, I'm making dad jokes, get over it.
Cowboy, yeah.
Cowbooyah, there you go. Got two options here. One is comically small, the other is comically large. Sticking under the $100 price point, it's something that felt like theme appropriate and had a sheath that was theme appropriate too. That was important for me. I didn't want a real rustic Western feeling knife in a nylon sheath. That didn't feel right. First up, the Baron Son Baby Bowie. Here it is. It's got a roughly 3-inch blade. It's coming in about $69. For me, it's just a 3-fingered knife. So it is definitely on the small side, even if it is built just fine. Blade steel, 440 stainless, nothing to write home about, but you do have actual India stag handles here, not plastic. That's really cool, and it's got the aesthetic. If this feels right, this could be good for you. The sheath works out really nicely. Traditional leather styling with the kind of basket weave embossing on it. There you go. Remembered my words. And a typical snap right there. Bet you that would look good on the hip of a cowboy outfit right there. Again, provided this is safe, only you're going to know that. The next one, if you want something bigger, something that the boy could grow into a little more. How about the Cold Steel Wild West Bowie right here? $93 for this thing right here. Comes with a 10 3/4 inch carbon steel blade, 1080 carbon steel in this case. Going to be pretty tough for thrashing on it, which if the boy is into this sort of thing now, he's probably going to be like me when he's a little older and wants to just go thrash this on trees and all of that and general hooliganism. With safety in mind, of course. So this steel is going to hold up pretty well to that. Hardwood handles, brass crossguard, big old brass crossguard. Just a lot of fun on the bun, and the sheath feels appropriate as well. I don't know if this is exactly the way a cowboy would have carried it, but the nice leather sheath you've got here feels right. Hope those help. Happy birthday to everyone. All right, now we come to the segment we call Measured Once, Cut Twice, where we take a second slice at a previous question, and in this one, I'm using it as an opportunity to bring a comment addressing an answer we gave last week, where an archaeologist was asking about some folding knife options. I recommended both the Razel Pocket Fixed Blade from CRKT as well as the Large Voyager from Cold Steel, a triad lock equipped knife. This question, or this comment, comes from Ines Bass. Hello, DCA. This is a little bit of a long one, but the story is really nice, so stick with me here. I want to share my experience about your cold steel suggestion regarding that question. I am an archaeologist, and for about 2 years, I carried my cold steel AD-10 in the field. Triad lock knife. I thought this was the best choice because of that triad lock, but I was actually wrong. Because of the significant dust accumulation in the knife, even sitting in the pocket, the surfaces on the locking mechanism didn't engage very well, and the knife developed vertical blade play when it is locked. Then in some cases, the tip of the blade was sticking out a bit of the handle while sitting in my pocket, but in the open position, there was no problem. The lock was strong. When I opened the knife and thoroughly cleaned it, the problem disappeared. So that's interesting. My gut was a little wrong on that, if that's the case. So again, thank you for sharing this again. I carried another backlock knife, and it started to develop the same problem. In contrast, my paramilitary 2 never had an issue with the lock despite the dust. I'll second that as well. In my experience, the compression lock on these Spydercos is another great choice for dusty, grimy, dirty, hard work environments, because you've got an open back, you've got washers in the pivot, construction or a lock type that's just going to work quite well at mitigating those bad environs. Now I carry my White River backpacker on the belt. excellent knife here as well, and a Spyderco Bow River or Work Tough Gear tail in the backpack. I wear a fold or two, but not as the main and only knife. Along with the trowel, we use Mora knives for digging and cleaning archaeological structures, and for the more delicate work, we use scalpels and other small instruments. Mora over really anything.
Strikes again.
And I didn't actually took it off the table. I should put it back. Mora makes a chisel knife too. I actually keep one of these in each of my of the cars in my household. I recommended the Razel with the diggy point on it. The diggy point. Really appreciate your comment, and it adds a layer of experience to this particular question that I don't have. So thank you very, very much. Next, we have one other off comment. I'm going to call this the entirety of the lightning round this week, which comes from Eric J. Chastain. Wrong. The best archaeology knife has to be the CRKT Fossil LOL.
Those are paleontologists.
Dang it, you're right. Boo, Eric. Bad comment. And bad David for not catching that either.
Maybe the Condor lost Roman.
Maybe. That's hilarious. All right, now we come to our final question of the day, which of course is our most serious question of the day. No laughing. Wipe that smile off your face, Thomas.
You can't see it.
I can see it. Free State Fellow says, most serious question. As barbecue season approaches, neighborhood dads all start sharpening their cool backyard carving knives. A lot of dad stuff this week too, I approve. I've got my requisite cargo shorts, white New Balance sneakers, and apron with a kitschy saying, but now I need the ultimate suburban dad knife. Carcass splitters need not apply. There is only one true answer to the best and greatest of all time backyard barbecue slicing knives, especially for one with a sense of humor such as yourself, Mr. Free State Fellow. That is the Opinel number 13, ladies and germs. Is there any doubt? Tell me this wouldn't look great next to your barbecue tongs and spatula and sitting in that kitschy saying apron of yours. $135, 9-inch blade, just shy of 9 inches, I should say. Sandvik 12C27 steel. Very easy to sharpen up at the beginning of the season because it takes such a fine edge very, very nicely. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Opinel number 13 for the barbecue season. Well, that is all we have for today, folks. Keep your questions coming down in the comments below, as mentioned at the beginning of the video. If you got a question, we'd love to hear it. Meantime, let me know what you thought of the answers today. If you've got some alternate suggestions, throw them in the comments as well. And if you want to get your hands on any of these knives, check out the links in the description to take you to KnifeCenter.com. And while you're there, don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program, because the least thing we can do for you this dad knife season when you buy one of our knives today is give you some free money to spend on your next one. I am David C. Anderson. That's Thomas behind the camera. We're signing off. See you next time. Happy grilling, everyone.
And digging.
And digging.